Alright, what's going on, Phantombass and Cosmogs fans alike? This is Phantombass coming at you with our week number 1 IBL match in what is to be an epic showdown of amazing proportions. Our good buddy Josh, aka Ultraplayer 12, is sending us a challenge, and boy, a challenge it is. As you'll see looking up at the screens, if you didn't check out my team prep video, please go do that before you stare into the abyss of this video. I will quickly go over our teams, or my team that I brought for this video. I got an Assault Vest Vikavolt, kind of aimed at checking Skarmory over here, as well as checking the +1 bike of Rebombi. I've got a Calm Mind Store Power, a substitute Calm Mind Store Power Moonlight Necrozma, which is my win condition. One of my win conditions for this game. I've got Physically Defensive Mega Auto check Kyurem-Black. I've got a Stallbreaker Life Orb Stallbreaker Hydreigon, Taunt Roost Dark Pulse Dragon Pulse, meant to stop Mega Venusaur and Skarmory from getting up hazards, from defogging hazards from Leech Seeds, shenanigans, all that jazz. I got a mixed defensive Donphan with Rapid Spin, Rocks, and EQ and Roar to stop Rebombi. And then I've got the Roars particularly to help to stop Rebombi. And then I've got a Timid Kartana with Psyche MZ with Swords Dance, 3 attacks. Not too shabby of a set with a Psycho Cut, Leaf Blade, and Smart Strike. And +2, I one-shot everything not named Skarmory. And yeah, it's a good time. So right off the bat, looking at this team, I don't see Rhyperior here, nor do I see Manectric, meaning that Vikavolt just goes ham, gets spam Volt Switch all day long. And Vikavolt was my lead of choice anyway, because at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure that I can have as much initiative as possible, getting into things like Necrozma, getting my free Flame Orb off, getting into Hydreigon to Stall Break, getting into, especially if you led Skarmory, I wanted to prevent a Skarmory lead and I wanted to prevent a Rebombi lead as well. So that was our guaranteed lead of choice here. So we decided to lead with our Vikavolt, and we're going to see what young Josh brings to the table. So right off the bat, like you see me lead with Vikavolt here, and he leads with Jumanji as Mega Venusaur. So this is both good and bad for me. Good in the sense that I can get a slow Volt Switch off, and bad in the sense that if he goes for an attack, or even if he has knockoff, if he has knockoff, it's worst case scenario, but if he goes for something like Sleep Powder or Toxic, we're not having a good time. So right away I wanted to make sure I got the Volt Switch off so that I could guarantee get into either Necrozma, or if he switched out, we could act accordingly, because he had no immunities to Volt Switch at the time. So that's what we decided to do. He Mega Evolves here. We're gonna see him go gets that nice Mega Evolution off, and we're gonna see him go directly for a Leech Seed, which is perfect. That's the perfect turn for us, because we do straight up go for a Volt Switch here. And at this point in the game, it's really early, so I want to scout some damage. The first thing I noticed about this damage is that it is actually not especially defensive Venusaur at all. It's not like your standard set, so I kind of calculated it's more of a Fizz-Def Venusaur with a decent bit of, but it's not fully Fizz-Def either, because like I don't really know that, but as you'll see later in the game, it turns out that it's got a lot of special attack investment meant to make sure you can take on some things on my team, like oh yeah, you'll see it in a minute. So Vikavolt getting that initiative off really early is really crucial for my team. So we do decide to go Necrozma here, because it guarantees to get your Flame Orb off for free. It can't Toxic us or put us to sleep. And what this does is it gives us a chance to scout out what his switch is going to be, as well as gives us a chance to get a free Calm Mind up to make sure we can take on Rebombi if it decides to come in. The only decent switch into here are Slowking and Skarmory here, and I just wanted to, depending on what he goes into, I kind of wanted to scout based off of, and go straight for a Calm Mind here. As we see, he goes straight out for the Leech Seed here. So this proves that our speed investment was actually not enough for us to beat him creeping, and beat the creep. And that it was a speed tie, I couldn't tell. I have to go back and check what he sent me. But so here speed just here tells me that our 36 investment speed was actually, he must have invested even more. But here we do go straight for the Calm Mind. But this is valuable information telling me this kind of got, it may not have as much bulk as I think, but this Calm Mind gives us, allows us to make sure we can take 3 hits from, or 2 hits from Ribombee guaranteed, even after burn damage. And it's a roll for the Leech Seed damage on top of it. It also guarantees that we can do around 30% to a physically defensive Skarmory, as well as knock out this Venusaur just at +1. And we do a solid chunk to everything else on his team. So we do take the Leech Seed damage and give him back a decent chunk of HP. But with this, we do pressure out the Venusaur. And here, I think, okay, let me think what here I decided to go. Here I expect him to go into, I believe here I expect him to go into, Skarmory, so go for second Calm Mind. I'm not sure, honestly. Oh no, that's right. What I did was, I expected to switch out to Skarmory, so I doubled out into Hydreigon to start the stall breaking process. But he actually goes out into Slowking, which is just as good, because an Assault Vest Slowking, a max HP Assault Vest Slowking is still 2 KO by my Hydreigon. It's perfect. So he switches out and goes back into his Venusaur, and here I'm scouting for more damage, so I go for a Dark Pulse because I wanted to pressure that Slowking, and we do a solid like 35-40% with Dark Pulse, telling me that he is definitely not quite as defensive as we think. He may have a slight bit of speed F investment, but it's not a crazy amount. Like, at least me to believe he's more phys def. At least at this stage in the game, I think he's more physically defensive. So right here, I want to prevent him from going for Synthesis. Also want to prevent him from going for Leech Seed or Sleep Powder or any other shenanigans of that nature. So we're gonna go for a Taunt here to prevent this thing from doing any of those annoying shenanigans here. He does opt to go first for the Sludge Bomb here, so probably predicted my Taunt, which is perfectly fine. But in the long run, that really benefits me. Now, looking at this damage, this is where I realize he's got a lot of special attack investment, because a normal Sludge Bomb from Mega Venusaur wasn't doing that much. This tells me he's got a decent chunk of special attack investment, but he's still not a modest nature. So he's got somewhere in the neighborhood of around like 60 special attack investment is my guess. I'll have to go back and double check the calc, but he's got a decent bit. But it also tells me he's forfeited a lot of physical defense investment to opt into this, meaning that Kartana is going to have an easier time against this thing, as well as Donphin will be able to start whittling it down on switch-ins and such, which will be really nice. And we can roar it out as he tries to go for something like Synthesis or Leech Seed or what have you. A Giga Drain isn't going to be killing us because of our special defense investment on Donphin, but that's beside the point. We're getting ahead of ourselves. So right here, I fully expect the switch into either Ribombee, or I can respect the switch into Skarmory here, because actually, really what I wanted to do is keep my Hydreigon healthy. So I decided to just go straight for a Roost here on his switch out, because I knew he had to switch. This Hydreigon pressured him greatly. So he goes straight into his voice chat, the Komala here. And of course, knowing that I had to Roost. But really, Roost was no drawback play, because he couldn't Leech Seed me, he couldn't Toxic me. Best thing he could do was poison me with Sludge Bomb. The other option was to knock me off, but if you knocked me off, it provided longevity for my Hydreigon at the expense of damage output. That's okay. Looking at this, the way he brought in this Kamala, it kind of screams to me that he's either, I kind of want to say that he's either a bandit or a scarf set. Because funny enough, even though Scarf Kamala seems kind of like a meme, he gets play rough. So I was kind of wanting to scout for that a little bit. So I want to scout some damage here, so I do opt to go right into my Necrozma again to see what kind of damage he does, because even a bandit U-turn wasn't killing me. And he does go for the U-turn here, and as it kind of turns out, he's just an adamant Kamala. Now, this turn is good for me in the fact that I get some more information on his team, and I realize that his Kamala is most likely scarfed. Now, the good news for me on that is that because he's scarfed, he's not a huge offensive threat. I mean, yeah, he could kill my Hydreigon with U-turn, but on the same token, if he's got play rough, he's gonna blow me away. But on the same token, should I catch him on a move like, say, he's going for knockoff or goes for return, I can get into Kartana for free, which is really nice. So he goes out to Kyurem-Black here. Now here's some of the crazy rubber meets the road here. I stayed in here with Necrozma because I know that I can live any hit from this thing. Unless he's a choice banded Kyurem-Black, which I was kind of afraid of, but on the same token, if it was a choice banded Kyurem-Black, it was setup fodder for my Kartana. So, once again, on the same token, it was kind of okay for us to make this trade here. I was willing to trade my Necrozma for information on his Kyurem. He decides to go straight for a substitute, though, which tells me one of two things. One, he's not the Home Claw 3 attack set that I expected. Two, he is not the Life Orb set that I expected, unless he's like me and brings a sub Life Orb set. But if he's sub Life Orb, he's got Roost as well. He's got to have Roost, which means he's forfeiting a lot of moves, a lot of covers that he might need. He's not going to be packing HP Fire. He's not going to be packing Iron Head either, which means that he's essentially walled by my Autono. If he's packing Iron Head, he's not packing Earth Powers, which means he's walled by my Toxapex. By the way he's constructed his team, I'm kind of thinking he's more afraid of Toxapex than he is of Autono. Meaning Autono's going to have a great time against this thing. So that means that this thing has also become setup fodder for Necrozma. Hilarious, isn't it? To know that a Kyurem-Black has become setup fodder for Necrozma. But Necrozma is going to do some really good work here. As we're going to set up, it shows lefties here, meaning that I'm really going to be able to shoot hits from this thing. He goes for an Ice Beam here, and this damage tells me that he is not highly invested in special attack. Like, that is me without any boosts. That did so little, and we're just going to start Calm Minding up here, because there's no reason not to. Like, this thing is just free setup for me, and I needed to Calm Minding to have insurance against Rebombi, as he might try to bring it in here. Now here I have to go for a Moonlight to ensure that my Necrozma isn't going to be beaten by his Rebombi. Now, the good news here is that my thought process here is, okay, I want to get damage on this Skarmory, so it's not going to be in sturdy range, or it's not going to be sturdy, or its sturdy won't be intact. So what I'm going to do here is, because I know I outspeed this thing, I'm going to go straight for a Store Power, and kind of scout damage on a +1/+1, see what that does. That does around 30%, telling me that he's actually a physically defensive Skarmory. I'm more expected of especially defensive, but that's okay, and this Whirlwind is totally expected by me. Good news is that he Whirlwinds me straight out into my Hydreigon here. So here's where I'm going to kind of start making a series of aggressive plays. I know for a fact this Skarmory is a defensive set. I also know that he cannot 3-hit kill me with Iron Head. He cannot 2-hit kill me with Brave Bird. And we can roost off damage on this thing all day long. Taunt it down, we can roost, we can do a whole lot of stuff to this thing. But I know that he's going to want to preserve this thing to, for one, to beat Kartana, or to wall Kartana, two, to guaranteed have a check to my Necrozma, to be able to Whirlwind me out to roost and all this other jazz. The other thing I'm expecting is that he's going to go out into his Komala again. He's going to go out into Komala to try to chew a hit from Hydreigon. Or he's going to go out into his Rebombi to try to capitalize on my Hydreigon. He doesn't know my fourth move. He may think I have Flamethrower here, which is kind of why I don't go for it. My expectation is he's going to go for either Roost here, or he's going to go for go out into Ribombi or Komala. Either way, my switch is going to go back into Vikavolt because I want to be able to catch. It covers him staying in, it covers him going into Ribombi, seeing as I can comfortably chew any move he wants to go for. If he's going to go for a Quiver Dance, 2 Bug Buzzes are going to kill me. If he goes for Quiver, I can actually do a kill with Thunderbolt as well, which is great news for me. So I'm going to switch hard out into my Vikavolt, as he does decide to go out into his Komala. Now, here's where I have to make a sad sacrifice. I know there's Komala Scars, and the good news is that regardless of what he locks himself into, I can scout what he locks himself into and switch accordingly. If he goes for a U-turn here, I get the initiative here by going for Volt Switch. If he goes for knockoff here, I get the initiative here by going for Volt Switch. If he goes for return here, I get the there's no scenario in which Volt Switch is not the play. I'm going to go for Volt Switch here to scout damage and to kind of see what kind of set he is. So he goes for knockoff and does a clean chunk, but at the same time also tells me it's not a boosting item, and we do way too much damage to this thing for it to be Assault Vest. So I'm like, okay, this thing has to be Scarfed. So I got into my Kartana here because I am a Z Crystal and because I have near max HP. Knockoff's gonna be doing so little to me, and I can set up on this thing's face for sure. Now, of course, because this thing is Scarfed, he's forced to switch here. If he goes for knockoff here trying to catch me, and I Sword Stance here, it's literally game over because all I gotta do is kill something, and it's game. Like a +2 Leaf Blade kills Ribombi, if I recall correctly. +2 Smart Strike kill this thing, +2 Leaf Blade kill this thing, +2 Z Psycho Cut kills Mega Venusaur, neutral Smart Strike kills Ribombi, +2 Smart Strike kills Kyurem-Black. Like this, there's no scenario in which this thing doesn't just clean up here if I don't just set up. But at the same time, I know he's gonna go out into Skarmory. So what I wanted to do was force this thing out, and I had to make the play that I did to scare this thing out, so I could force this thing into his Skarmory, or force him back into his Skarmory, so I could go straight out into Vikavolt again. And here's where I scout Ribombi's speed investment. I'm thinking, okay, if he has Heat Wave on this thing, he could be a minus speed nature, which would be good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go for a Volt Switch here, because Volt Switch will kill this thing. Volt Switch also grants me a way to, if he goes for rocks here, I can go into Donphan and spin them away, assuming if he's like a walk-in set, and I don't kill him. So that's my play here. He goes for Stealth Rocks here, so I kind of anticipated that, but rocks really don't hurt me too badly. So I go for a Volt Switch here. Like, rocks versus me weren't exactly the worst thing in the world. Good and bad is that I kill off his Skarmory, which is his one true check to Kartana. So now we can safely go into our Mega Audino. As he does choose to go out into Mega Venusaur, I went to Audino here to make sure that he didn't go out into his Ribombi. Also to make sure that because I have Flamethrower in the set, also wanted to make sure that he didn't go out into his Kyurem-Black. I wanted to ensure that that was not going to be a problem. I wanted to force him to go into Venusaur essentially, because that was his only other check to this thing. So I do decide that I want to get the Mega off, I'm just going to go straight for Protect to make sure I can scout what he goes for. I kind of had it in the back of my mind that he would go for Synthesis, but on the off chance he didn't, I just wanted to be sure that I would get this Mega off. Because having this thing as a Fairy type was needed to make sure I could check his Kyurem-Black better. So I was willing to trade information and added typing in exchange for some health on this thing. Now what I wanted here was to see what he would go for, and once again scout some damage and a non-invest. Funny enough, that was a roll for non-invested Venusaur. I was kind of confused here, so I did go for Wish here, and I decided I was going to go into Vikavolt. As I expected him to go for either a Leech Seed or another Sludge Bomb. And the good news is he actually goes for Leech Seed here, which really benefits me in that I don't die, and I can also get this thing lives to see another day, or at least another move. So we get the wish off, and we give him some health. So here I'm just gonna go for Bug Buzz to scout for bulk investment, or for more bulk investment, as well as to see, just to get some damage on this thing to put it in range of Kartana. So I wanted to put him in range of Kartana to make sure that I could kill him with just a regular Z Psycho Cut. But with this Leech Seed damage, he's actually out of range. So I choose to let him kill me here, so I can go for free into my Hydreigon, because he cannot safely do anything to this Hydreigon. Like, Hydra here is such a massive threat to his team at this point, because it has to use his Kyurem. It taunts down his Venusaur, and it beats his Slowking 1v1 as well. So here I expect him to go. Say here, you're gonna see a switch, but I expect him to make a double into his Ribombee again. Either that or to go into his Komala again, because that seems to be a switch of choice. And so I decided to make a double into my Necrozma, because I wanted to make sure that I could get some free setup here, because we were at a pretty high amount of health. I wanted to kind of scout, and I didn't want to get his Ribombee in for free. Not when I could just Calm Mind up against it, guaranteed live 2 hits from it. So what I decided to do here was scout somewhere, and it turns out this thing is in fact scarfed because of my speed investment. I outsped a normally adamant Komala, but this guaranteed that I outsped. So now I was like, okay, confirmed. So we click Calm Mind here, and here's where I decide that I'm going to reveal Substitute, because with this Calm Mind up, I ensure that I can 2-shot Ribombee, I can 1-shot Venusaur, and on top of that, I can also get subs up and live special hits from this Slowking and keep my sub up. So this Calm Mind is really crucial for damage output. And yes, this burn is evil, but so what I'm going to do here is I actually expect him to have the Dragon Tail or the Yawn. Those were 2 things I was really worried about. So I decided to go for Substitute here, because Dragon Tail from a non-invested minus attack nature, Slowking cannot break my sub. And at this rate, neither can Scald, nor Psyshock, nor freaking Flamethrower, nor Signal Beam, or nothing. Nothing can break my sub because I'm at +1. So I click sub here. Or Signal Beam could if he was modest. So he goes for Dragon Tail here, which is perfect because that's the one thing I needed to get a free sub up. And clearly Dragon Tail doesn't break my sub. So I can click Moonlight here pretty freely, knowing that he actually could potentially miss out on the killing my sub with Signal Beam here, or Shadow Ball, or actually Shadow Ball I think would have broken if he was modest. But he goes for Signal Beam, so okay. Fun fact: him not being able to break my sub, even with that, tells me he wasn't invested at all. So we click Calm Mind here again to guarantee that we can take on Ribombee as it comes in, because I knew that was his only answer at this point, because we were behind a sub. We're now at +2/+2. We one-shot this Ribombee 100% of the time. He's got a quiver up here to make sure that he lives this next attack. So I am forced to click Moonlight here, sadly, because of the fact that I know he's going to quiver. So even with this, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't in range of a crit. So I click Moonlight to guarantee that we're here and where we want to be. Even this was a 95 to 114% roll, I wasn't going to risk that roll to kill the Ribombee. So I click Calm Mind again here, as he clicks Bug Buzz. And good news and bad news. And good news, bad news is Bug Buzz is behind the sub, but good news is it doesn't break the sub. So he gets a Spidef drop here, and here's where that was kind of annoying. On the one hand, it doesn't really affect me in the fact that I go for Calm Mind here, but on the downside, said he's going to be doing consistent damage rather than me taking less, and it weakened the power of my sword power, sadly. But it's okay, because we get the third Calm Mind out. We're +3/+2 now. We guarantee kill this thing, even if he quivers up again. So, if actually, that's the thing. The other thing is that spin up drop made it so that that roll was back if he quivered up again. But as you'll see here, he decides to go directly for another bug buzz to try to weaken me some more. But here I go for store power because there's no reason for me not to. I had to make sure that I just killed this thing. This thing was the biggest threat to my team. And yeah, we knock out this Rebombi. And that tells me he was a Z crystal set, which I fully expected from this set. So next thing we're going to see is we're going to see his voice chat come back in. And here, I fully expect him to go for a knockoff. He has to go for a knockoff to do the most damage possible. So what I'm expecting, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Moonlight twice because this will get me back up to where I'm near full. So he clicks knockoff and breaks my sub, which once again I kind of I expected. So I click Moonlight here to make sure that I'm going to be out of range of even crit knockoff. Or it's a roll for a crit knockoff, I should say. But like, as you'll see here, this next knockoff completely, it does a lot to Necrozma. But the good news is Prism Armor is a thing. Also, my HP investment is a thing. And we click Moonlight, so now he's doing significantly less with this knockoff. And we can kill him with stored power. I just wanted to keep this thing semi-healthy to make sure we can take on Venusaur. But so we're gonna click stored power here. So just click knockoff again, and this time he only reaches down to 67. So stored power is going to kill this thing off, which is great because that's even one more threat out of the way. Now he does in this turn go into Mega Venusaur, so I'm fully expecting him to either attack me or click Leech Seed. So I click stored power just to kill this thing off. Goes for Sludge Bomb, and thankfully I was out of range from the Sludge Bomb. Click stored power, and we kill this thing as well. Now, here's where Necrozma's fun ends, but I had to. This thing was kind of switched roles on me here, and once I got it low enough, I was like, okay, it's done its job. It is killed off its main walls and threats here. So I kind of wanted to make sure that I had the last two raw. I click Moonlight here in case he decided to sub up for some reason, but he does go right up for the Ice Beam. He gets the crit, doesn't matter. He's gonna kill me regardless. So here once again we see the leftovers. Now here I had a couple options. I had Donphan in the back, I had Mega Audino in the back, and I had Kartana in the back. Now on the one hand I could have gone into Donphan, which would have made 0 sense because it would have straight up killed me. Okay, what? Audino was too low to take any hits, but I wanted to keep it around for differential, essentially. Because Audino had done its job, but I could use it as sack fodder if I really needed to. So I go into Hydreigon here, because Hydreigon forces this thing out. Now, here's where I reveal the last move, and you're going to see, we click Dragon Pulse here, and to a normal Kyurem, Dragon Pulse is a guaranteed kill. And even at this range, this thing had a really strong chance to kill, and we miss out by like 1 HP, it's ridiculous. And he kills us with Ice Beam, which is okay, because in the end, Kartana can come in. Kartana can come in and just click Smart Strike to kill this thing. And we'll get the speed boost. Now here's where I was really sad there wasn't an attack boosting set, because all I had to do is just at this rate kill the Slowking in the back with Leaf Blade at +1 I would have killed. But here I click Smart Strike here, and actually Leaf Blade was a roll not in my favor to kill the Slowking, so it was a sad day. But anyway, we kill the Kyurem, we get our speed boost, and here he goes to Slowking. It's like, okay, here's where the rubber meets the road. Are you a Fist F set? Are you a Rindo set? Because we haven't seen any information on you. One thing we've seen from you is Dragon Tail and Signal Beam. So what I'm fully expecting is for him to go for a Flamethrower here. My best switch into that is actually Donphan, because we're not 2 KO by that, and we can very easily chip this thing down with an Earthquake. We know he's slower than us, and it's gonna be what I need is just to get some chip on it with the Earthquake, so I can bring back in Kartana to kill with Leaf Blade through a Rindo Berry. Now he goes for a Signal Beam here, so it kind of tells me he may not have Flamethrower, and he does very negligible damage. It's telling me that he's really bulky. That he's not even a modest set. So we click Earthquake here to get some chip on this thing, and we check the damage here, and he actually doesn't take that all that well, meaning that he's definitely now in range of Leaf Blade, but I kind of want to be sure that he's going to be in range after Rindo. So, thankfully the water's cold today, so we're not going to get burned. But, we are going to see leftovers here, meaning that this thing is not Assault Vest and it's not Rindo Berry, so that means that it's now guaranteed in range of Leaf Blade. So I'm just going to click Earthquake anyway to make sure we can put him in range. Of just about anything my team can go for. So I'm going to click. So this way I'm going to let Donphan go down to guarantee myself the win. I could have made some reads, but I didn't really feel like trying to go that route. I couldn't risk any Skull Burns on Kartana. I couldn't risk him potentially critting me with Signal Beam as well. So we just go into Kartana here, and we're going to wrap up this game with a nice juicy Leaf Blade. So that is going to be a 2-0 win versus Josh, aka Ultraplayer 12, coach of the New York Metagross. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this battle. This was a really good match. Overall, I feel like I played this game really well. I prepped really well. Josh prepped and played phenomenally. His Kyurem set was interesting. The one he brought the things I was scared of most, but especially that Ribombee. I knew that thing was going to be a problem if I didn't handle it accordingly. And Scrum Rando would be an issue. That's why I was glad I brought Bikeable. And I guess the biggest way I could have lost that game is if I had just stayed in with my Kartana there at the end against his Slowking, because if he was Fist F set, I actually wasn't killing him with Leaf Blade. And if he had Flamethrower, it was just bad news day for me. Signal Beam wasn't killing me, but I couldn't risk the confusion if I went for Swords Dance. And if you went for Scald, I couldn't risk the burn. There was just too many factors at play. I couldn't risk it, so I had to make sure that I played the game as best I could. And I feel like I was glad for us to come out with a week 1 win. So thank you guys so much for watching. And that's all it's been for me. It's been Phantombass. We'll catch you in our week 2 match. Bye, guys.